Welcome to the Ruby Hour, a podcast produced by our company Ruby Riot Creatives. We specialize in video production and content marketing, and we're based in Charleston, South Carolina. I'm Shelby Ring.
And I'm Madeline Rager.
This podcast is devoted to interviewing extraordinary people doing extraordinary things and nuggets of wisdom that they've learned along their journey. Also, just want to give you a heads up, we have potty mouths and we're talking about inappropriate things. Happening in here right now with the light, or just
just like everything. Oh my god, you're like way bigger than most of our guests.
I know, like this looks different.
How dare you? I'm very sensitive about my weight. How dare you?
Let's shift the bench, push the seat over like that way.
I'm never eating again.
Oh my god. We have a gigantic guest with us. Do you want me to introduce you as I have PJ Brown, who's a, what do you like to call yourself?
Whatever. Just
the
call me whatever you want to call me.
All right. I'm gonna call you Bula. Do you like to go by cinematographer or videographer? Cinematographer.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I like to go by film director.
Do you want me to introduce you as a film director?
I would literally jump out the window.
Lead cinematographer of his company Life and Rewind.
I'm the only cinematographer in my company.
The lead and only cinematographer.
Lead
Okay, fine.
Solo.
Thank you so much for joining us for another episode of the Ruby Hour. I have the elusive animal PJ Brown in the house. He is the lead and only cinematographer with his company Life and Rewind Films.
Can I interrupt you real fast?
Yep.
I was told this was going to be a pleasant place and I was going to feel good about myself coming here. And the first thing that's come out of their mouth is, "You're so huge that
Just look at him in the shot,
you're
okay?
throwing the composition of our shot off." So
Hulk.
I'll never eat again. And now this is 90 minutes of silence.
For the record, I just want to say that I said this was a brave space, not a safe space. So
that's a valid point.
It's your opportunity if you want to step in and be bold, be vulnerable, or if you
or step out if I'm about to cry on camera from the inside.
Yeah, just the door is right there. It's close to you. Yeah. So, oh my gosh. So this guy. All right. So let me just tell you, from one videographer, cinematographer, fancyographer to another. So his work is insane. We love it. We watch it in our spare time. And that doesn't sound creepy at all.
Usually between the hours of 2:45 a.m. and 3:15 a.m.
Weird texts back and forth. No, so anybody in the wedding industry, we just had one of our friends on and she was like, "You got PJ on the show." So I just want to tell you, expectations with this guy is through the roof. But yeah, we're going to take this hour and get to know who is the man behind Life and Rewind, because you don't have any pictures of yourself.
Zero.
On your website, whatever. Sean and Elizabeth, they're the only people that are pumping constant pictures of you out.
Nothing makes me more just fearful and nightmares at night. Well, I'll get a text from Elizabeth Faye, who's one of my closest friends in town, and she'll say, "Oh, tomorrow we're looking for content. We're thinking about doing a Pauly Brown day where we just post pictures of you all day." I'm like, that sounds horrible, and you will lose followers for sure.
Your followers will flock away.
Yeah, you will flock. Your business will go under. You and Sean will probably break up. Nothing but horrible things.
The
will
world
happen.
is going to crumble.
Absolutely.
Well, I had a list of great questions. I always prepare things before our shows, and my printer was like, "You got nothing." So I just have his name. PJ Brown is literally.
They don't call her the best of the best for nothing.
I like to be prepared. So we're going to be winging this one. But
Perfect.
no, so tell me a little of
Can I say something though?
Yeah.
First off, congrats. This is such a cool idea. We always see podcasts from all over, and it's really cool to have in the small creative community in Charleston, you guys doing it. It's really cool.
Thank you.
Slow clap to Ruby Riot Creative. Yeah.
Get it a little bit.
No, for real, it's awesome.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Honored to be here.
Well, we're pumped to have you here.
Thank you.
So, where are you from?
I'm from Chicago, Illinois. So actually, I'm born and raised 30 minutes outside of the city.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what brought you to Charleston?
I'd visited Charleston a few times before, and I'd always loved it. And I was kind of traveling around, and I knew I wanted to leave Chicago, because in Chicago, I was bartending. And I was bartending at the biggest douchebag nightclub ever. But the money was insane.
Yeah.
So I knew that this was something I kind of had in my back of mind, but actually when I came to Charleston, I wanted to open a pizza restaurant. So that's the reason I came to Charleston. So I knew in Chicago it was too much competition for a pizza place, and I just knew like I always had bartending to fall back on, as I said, because the money was good. I was like, oh, if it doesn't work out, I can bartend. I'm like, I need to go to some place where if it doesn't work, like I'm homeless. So when I came, so I was trying to figure out when I was going to move, and then in Chicago in 2011, they had something called the snowpocalypse, which literally was so cold that people were just leaving their cars in the middle of the road because there was so much snow you couldn't drive anymore.
Whoa.
And my car was frozen shut, and I'm like, I'm getting older, life's too short for this, I'm out. So I moved here like October of 2011.
Okay.
Yeah.
Going on 8, finishing a solid 8, going on 9.
Solid 8 years, yeah.
All right. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. So what was, I had the best question lined up to like frame this, but it was like, what
just go with it,
inspired you to get into filming? Like, tell me about your journey, and don't give me, I don't want the abbreviated version you probably pitched to like clients or whatever.
No, like
what was your moment that like you fell in love with video?
I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. So I went to college to play baseball, and the school I went to, I ended up majoring in like broadcasting and film, just because it was like the easiest major. Okay. So I was like, I just want to focus on playing sport. Yeah. And I was like, but then as I kind of got into it, I was like, oh, this is cool, but is this really something I want to do for the rest of my life? I didn't know. When I graduated, I kind of moved around. And as I said, when I came here, I wanted to open a pizza restaurant. And quickly, I realized I was so far in over my head, I will go bankrupt. And also just realized that I was going to have to be working 7 days a week for the next 5 to 10 years. And that's not what I wanted. So then I was like, well, holy shit. I was 30 at the time. I said, holy shit, I'm 30. Now what am I going to do? So I was like, well, what about what I went to school for? So I kind of just started to pick it up. But when I graduated college in 2003. Everything has now changed. Like back then we had huge cameras. It took like 6 people to even hit record. I threw my back out twice just trying to like load it on. And now you got, please don't cough while I'm talking. Okay. Sorry.
Madeline just got called out.
Cut. We're cutting this. But now you just have, these little mini DSLRs, and we didn't even know what that was when I was going to school. Yeah. So I basically just kind of like taught myself over and over again. And then the way I got started in town is I literally went door to door, like old school, with a DVD of like my shit.
DVD, folks.
DVD. That's almost as old as a VHS. And I didn't know what I wanted to do. Yeah. So I was just like, well, what's the consistent thing in town? And it was weddings and funerals.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Oh, shoot.
So I went and I handed my DVDs to a few wedding planners in town. Crickets. They wanted nothing to do with me. Because like, who's this guy? They're like, oh, let us see some of your work. I'm like, I don't have any.
Yes.
So I finally got a call one day from a funeral company, and they're like, hey, you got booked. And I'm like, I don't know whether to be like, yes, my career is about to take off, or holy shit, my career is over.
Oh my.
The fact that I got booked. So I got booked to do 2 different things with this funeral. I put together the old like photo montage.
Yes.
And then I actually went to the funeral and I set up a tripod in a back room, and they're like, we just want you to like interview people about the deceased, and they're gonna like tell stories.
Okay.
And then like put together a video.
Yeah.
So I did that, and I was like, I never want to do that again. It was like,
oh my god, were people just like crying?
Yeah,
talking about
it
how
was
much
just
they loved
horrible.
the person?
And like I didn't
oh
know
my god,
the
you're
person.
Behind
and I'm
the
just
camera.
sitting there.
Oh
and
no.
like I'm just going, this is unreal. And then I was like, well, shit, I'm 30. What else am I going to do now? And then finally, I had one wedding planner that said, I'll let you do it, but obviously you got to do it for free. I'm like, oh, for sure. And then I did my first one for free, and then it just kind of took off from there. So.
I mean, with roots in the funeral industry.
Yeah.
That's pretty brilliant, though. Like, I applaud the surveying the market and be like, where's there always a constant need? Sure. That's when I came here, because I came here 5 years ago, and it was like, I didn't know there was that many weddings here. Yeah. I just knew that I was like, I think there's weddings here. I think there's like Southern culture.
Sure.
Weddings are such a big deal, and I definitely dove into. I had one wedding that I shot solo under my belt before coming to Charleston, and it was a nudist wedding.
Do you still have that footage?
I do.
I'm gonna need to see that.
Oh no! And so I'm like trying to tell.
Was it in town?
It was no, it was in Puerto Rico.
Like, please say Lowndes Grove. It was at Lowndes Grove.
The procession.
The pictures on the pier were incredible.
The boat, and then walking down into silence. Yeah. No, it was in Puerto Rico,
That's
and a whole bridal party, butt ass naked. And it was so I had to like tell people like, yeah, I've filmed weddings. You're just gonna have to believe me on this one, because I couldn't be like, here's a bunch of naked people.
But in your mind, you knew you could do a good job.
Yeah.
And that's how I felt too.
Yeah.
But also like being from Chicago, and we didn't know what like a big budget wedding is. You had no clue, and then you came to town. Again, like you're going, cool, I work for free, but I don't even know what to charge. Like when you're moving forward, because you're going, well, are people going to pay for this? Like, and who wants this? And you're just so confused by the whole industry. And then finally, like after a year or two, you're like, well, damn, like maybe you can actually pay your bills with this. Maybe you can actually provide for your cats.
I mean, I mean, I try.
Yeah.
I try. Malik might have. I actually fed him ham on the stairwell where he likes to throw up.
Perfect.
I tried. He ate like half of it.
Solid.
Picky cat. But okay, cool. So from Chicago. So where like I love in your footage and how you film. Well, first of all, okay, wait. We got to back up, because I love on your website, like, I feel like the moment that I established like a vendor crush with you was you were like, I don't care, or I don't understand why people ask what kind of camera equipment I work with, or, like, I don't give a shit about your table placemat, whatever. I want to take an elbow to the face, getting granny breakdancing. Like, that is like, I read that and I was like, thank you. Like, thank you.
Yeah.
Because it's like, why, all the curated, like the expectation of like, oh, I need to fight with the photographer doing detail shots to do the same thing twice.
So stupid.
And I'm missing like the bride getting ready with her buddies and like champagne or shots or whatever. And, so walk me through, like, how did you go from meager, funeral filming videographer to someone that's like, I don't give a shit about you or whatever. I want to capture emotion.
Yeah. So, I mean, the people sometimes ask me for advice. And one of the biggest things, I'm like, the one thing I'd say to everyone, if you want to be any type of entrepreneur, I don't care, videographer, whatever, restaurateur, take business classes. And when I came to town, I took business classes, and the one guy said to me, he's like, well, what do you want to do? And this was after the pizza place was about to go belly up. Or the non-existent pizza place I knew was going to go belly up. And I was like, oh, I want to do this. And he straight up said to me, he's like, you're an idiot. And he's like, you are going to fail at all that because you don't know. He's like, you need to be a hunter. He goes, you don't want to be a hunter that has like a shotgun and you're just spraying random shells everywhere, just praying to hit something and it's going to work out. He's like, you need to be like a Navy SEAL sniper, where like, you know what your market is, you know your client, and that's who you're with. And I think that's something that I identified pretty quickly. So when I decided that I was going to start doing wedding videos, I watched hundreds of them. And I'm not putting down anyone else's work. This isn't a slam on anyone else, but 99% of them made me want to punt my computer out of my office and be like, what is going on?
What did I just watch for the last 15 minutes?
But I was like, holy shit, is this what people want? Like, is this what people want? Because my first wedding, I sat there and I twirled a stupid ass ring.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, because that's what I saw. But then I watched that and I was like, why do I feel like I'm your cat that just ate ham? I'm about to puke everywhere.
Yeah.
So then I was just like, that's not what I want to do. Like, that's not what I want my brand to be. And that's one thing again, just talking to anyone that's starting off, like if you think everyone's your client, you're wrong. Like you want to be picky on who your client is, and that's something I'm very, very particular now who I'm working with, just because I know what style I shoot with. And yeah, I love to customize stuff for clients, but at the same time, like a super, super traditional Southern wedding with like a church wedding and then a reception inside Francis Mary and everything. It's like, that's not my style. Like, and I'm not putting down that wedding. I'm just saying I'm not the dude to shoot that wedding, just because it doesn't vogue with my style. But so I just kind of watch hundreds and hundreds of weddings and going, cool, that is not what I want. I want to have like a style that's to me. And one thing I couldn't stand is that everything was so serious. Like between the music and I'm like, damn, it's not that serious. Like it's a freaking wedding. Like
it's supposed to be a big party.
It's supposed to be having fun. And when you think about the way a wedding is broken down, is you got 90% of the day is super fun. Like everyone's getting ready. Bridesmaids are drinking, the dudes are doing, beer bongs or whatever. And then you have, the 15 minutes of seriousness for the ceremony, the 15 minutes of seriousness for the speeches, and the first dances. And after that's a party. So like, but people were only focused on like all the serious parts. And again, like the music, I was just like, dude, this isn't like Land of the Mohicans or whatever that movie is called with Daniel Day-Lewis. Brilliant movie.
Wait, how do you feel about Christina Perri's 1,000 Years? That song.
The song?
Yeah.
Like for a wedding video?
Yeah.
Oh, just next level creativity. Really, really great stuff. Just really, really good. That and
haunts my nightmares.
Because I remember seeing the wedding videos, and 6 in a row that I watched on Vimeo had Train Marry Me on it. And I was just like, what is going on? So I just kind of like built, like try to make it more customized. And then one thing too, as you were talking about, which is such a huge point, you made 2 really good points, is talking about battling with the photographers. Yeah. This is the biggest advice I can give anyone that is trying to get higher level weddings. Be nice to the photographer you work with. They will book you 99% of your business, because the way it works in the majority of high-end weddings, obviously the planner gets booked first. Then they're going to book their photographer. And the first thing they're going to ask the photographer is,
do you do videography?
Yeah, do you do videography? Oh, you don't? I thought we were paying for both. And if you don't, well, who do you recommend? Yeah. And I will say this, and this sounds horrible, I think the majority of people that I work with photographer-wise haven't even seen my work. Like, they're not going back and looking. Right. But they're just like, well, that guy was fun to work with. Yeah. He had minimal equipment. Yeah. He shot by himself. He never got in my way. Yeah. And we had a few laughs at the vendor table. Yeah. That guy seems like a good fit. And again, like, they're not even watching my stuff, but it's just because you're cool and you're making sure that you're not impeding on what they do. Because I understand they got it way more stressful than we do, I think. Because they have shot lists and this and that. So.
Yeah. And they're having to direct all of the things, all of the people. Yeah.
Sorry, this is a super long-winded answer. But also, I love what you said, too, about the camera. Like, if you think a client cares,
please, just, like, take off. Just take off.
I went, it was one of the darkest times of my life. I don't know why I did it. I went to a wedding. I'm not going to name the thing, but I went to a wedding networking event out of the area, and there was another videographer there, and this guy just oozed ego. And the first question he asked me is, what are you shooting with?
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like,
what are you working with? You Canon or you Nikon? What do you got?
And I'm like, I don't know, one of the Sony models. And he's like, I shoot with a Red. So anyone, like, a Red is like a super high-end cinema camera used for like music videos and movies, blah, blah, blah. And I wanted to go to him and be like, you're such an idiot if you think like anyone can tell the difference. But also, like, a Red for a wedding would be a miserable camera choice. Like, it's horrible. And I was like, well, why do you do that? And he's like, because the second you bust out the Red from your camera bag, it just shows that, like, you're a big deal. And I'm like, oh my God. Like, I wanted to punch the guy square in the face.
Did you?
No. I'm actually very scared of physical altercations, despite my enormous size.
Hulk over here in the corner. Okay.
So like, none of that matters. There's a company I really like, and they shot a wedding. They were so tired of getting that question that they shot a wedding on an iPhone, just to show, like, it doesn't matter what equipment I have. If you know how to shoot, if you know how to edit, if you know how to pull emotion out, you could make a claymation like flip look, and it's going to be better than a lot. So to me, it doesn't matter at all. And even like, and I'm not saying my style fits for every company. Everyone has, and I want every company to have their own style, but like the way my style is like, I literally shoot handheld 98% of the day. The only time I put something on a tripod is for a speech. But it's just like, because to me, I don't care if the shot looks perfect. Like, I want that handheld movement, the rawness. I want it to be in and out of focus, because that's like what love and life is. Like, it's dirty, it's gritty, it's not, the imperfections are sometimes what makes it great. And I think the companies that try to make everything seem perfect, like, oh, let's redo this, let's stage this, like, it's just, that's what makes a wedding video corny. And again, some clients want that, which is fine, but like, for me, that is like what would make me want to get out of the business. If a client was like, well, this is what I want you to do, I'd be like, no, absolutely not.
Like, what's your ring table set up? How do you like to style the rings?
I'm sorry, you didn't get enough shot of our napkins. I mean, obviously you feel the same way, right?
Yeah, so like, I had all of my equipment stolen out of my car after not after a wedding. I didn't lose footage. And but I was, my first 8 months of filming here in Charleston, and I freaked out. I had basically like...
So what was stolen?
It was, I had about $10,000 of gear at that time.
Nice.
Cameras, lenses, batteries, memory cards, like everything I needed, like my whole wheelhouse, broken in two and pulled out of the car.
Also what you thought you needed at that time.
Yes. Yeah. And so, but then I freaked out, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, I need to level up. And so whatever level up meant. And so I I went online and went to BH Photo Video, and I looked at the most like epic camera I could find. I got this.
Was that literally what you typed in the search bar?
Pretty much. Yeah. So
with air quotes.
So I got the Sony NEX FS700.
Am I too close to this microphone?
I think you're good to it.
Okay, solid. Appreciate
I think it likes you. It
is
happy in your
It's creeping, but then I was like, I was embracing the creeping. Yeah.
So so I bought an $8,000 camera that I was like, oh, I should get a red. It was that exact whatever BS. Like, well, how did this camera have arrived? And I've heard it's funny that you're like, the guy being like, oh, well, the moment that I pull it out, it's like, people know I'm not kidding around.
But then you've also see footage that's shot on a red, and you're like, that looks like dog shit.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter. If you can shoot, you can shoot. If you can't shoot, you can buy any camera you want, and it's not going to improve you.
Right. And it's like, for me, the journey was finding my own security of like, because like that big ass camera I went into debt for and wanted to return it like 29 days later after I filmed a project, and they actually found all my equipment that was stolen.
Really?
Yeah. And
they find the guy that did it?
Yeah. He was just like a little...
What's his name?
Meth head guy.
What's his address?
I don't know. Herman Burglar. And,
sounds like a rat bastard.
So I get all my stuff back. I'm one day over the policy of returns, so I'm stuck with $8,000 of equipment I didn't really need, and I heavily regretted it. But what I regretted the most was I had this fancy, it looked like a bazooka, right? Like, you're like, I could like blow something up with this thing. And the fact that I never wanted to take it out. I never wanted to bust it out in front of people. It was hard to carry, hard to handle, and it was just like, and I didn't even like I didn't like the picture. I didn't like how hard it was to make it look like what I liked in my aesthetic. So it was just, and I think I ended up selling it for like $3,000 like later, and was like, I don't care, just get this out of my life, right? And but yeah, that gear question, like I had a groomsman come up to me and tried to like ask me to dance while filming with an iPhone and all the things in my hands, and then he said, what's the worst pickup line you've ever had at a wedding. And I was like, when someone comes up and tries to like school me with gear, being like,
sure.
So what are you shooting with over there? Yeah, what do you got? What else you got? You working with? Or, oh yeah, I'm more of a Nikon person myself. You know, I shoot with, and they go through whatever. It's like if you want to repel.
To me, not to interrupt, but the most annoying person in the history of the world is the family member at a wedding that thinks they can shoot, and they have their camera, and they want everyone to know, hey, Aunt Sally can shoot too, and she's taking pictures, she's trying to get in the photographer's way, and she wants everyone to know, like, I'm here to save the day.
Yeah.
I'm here to save the day. I was at a wedding where literally the bride and groom asked someone to stop shooting, a family member. They wouldn't, and the person had to be escorted out of the wedding because they refused to stop shooting.
Oh, no. Yeah. Oh, no. Well, we have in our contracts, we do the thing saying we're the sole professional videographer on site.
Sure.
And if a family member, third cousin twice removed, busts out their iPad and is like cock blocking us from like getting your vows exchanged,
they will punch them in the face.
Yeah, that's in our contract. Sure. And they have to sign off.
Yeah. Scissor kick to the groin if we see
Get 'em out.
Granny with one iPhone photo.
Out. Yeah. And so, but we just try to spell it out plainly. Same with, I try to always connect with the officiant right before and introduce the unplugged ceremony concept, because like we had an iPad second row this weekend that I loved and zoomed in on and wanted to put it on our Instagram story.
Sure.
But it's like different. I mean, I also want to be respectful of like older folks. That's how they feel they're capturing a memory, right?
And it's so tough now, like, because it's such an instant gratification world. So because a lot of times I'm like, why doesn't every bride and groom adopt the philosophy of like the unplugged ceremony? But I was like, well, I get it if they're like, well, we want something to post within the next 2 months before it takes us to get a video or photos, whatever.
Sure.
So I get it, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know if people realize how much that stuff gets in the way.
Yeah.
And like the bride's coming down the aisle and you got, Uncle Steve doing one of these. Then it looks bad on us because they're like, well, where's the shot? And I'm like, well,
ask Uncle Steve.
Uncle Steve, who's 475 pounds, just walked out into the aisle, and I pulled out my back trying to bend around him, and now I'm hurt for the rest of the wedding.
Yeah. I will send you an invoice for my doctor appointment. No.
But real quick, though, I do want to say one thing that about the equipment, too, that I think is super important. And again, like just talking about the people that bring a ton of equipment. And again, anyone can shoot how you want to shoot. I'm not saying, but I'm saying like for someone that's starting off, just something to think about is, it's one thing if you're working with actors that like feel comfortable with equipment, but you're working with usually a couple that this could be their first time really in front of the camera. So you want to make it as easy and as laid back as possible. So the more equipment you bring, the more they feel like they're acting. And even now, like I know there's a camera on me, so I'm acting different.
I'm sitting up extra tall right now.
Oh, for sure. I haven't breathed in 4 hours.
Oh, I'm just going to get back to how I normally like to sit.
I've had to pick my left nostril for 20 minutes. I'm not doing it. My eye itches. I have a twitch I was trying to fight. But like you want to make them as comfortable as possible. So then they know that they're acting. I said like, so I'm on camera now. I'm aware that I'm on camera, so I'm acting a little different. And the whole goal of the day and to do something is to get those real and raw moments, because that's the stuff that they're going to love the most.
Yeah.
So the less that they even are aware that you're there, your assistant's there, the better the better their day is going to be. Yeah. But also the better their end product is going to be. So it's like such a win-win, because I've worked with some awesome photographers, but then like they're almost stressor to the day, because they're like, we got to get this done, and you can tell the couple's like, damn man, I didn't know I was going to pay you all this money and you're going to stress me the hell out. Like, just be a little chiller about it. So it's like it's such a give and take. Like obviously you got to make sure you're getting great stuff, but you want to make sure they're comfortable, their families are comfortable, their friends are comfortable, because I mean you can tell when people are over the camera, and then you just got to figure out how to still get the shots without
Yeah, and
bugging them.
And my favorite thing, and I used to use this as like a marketing tagline when I was extra feisty. It was like, our goal is to capture you having the time of your life, not just posing like you are.
Wow, that's amazing.
Because it's like, this is not, I'm sure you have horror stories of those times where photographers like hijack the bride and groom for 2 hours doing like flash umbrella stage lights on the beach to get whatever they wanted. And it's like it affected the DJ, the timeline, the guests were just twiddling their thumbs.
And at the same time, the couple doesn't even really want to do it. Like, the couple's over it. Like, how many times do you say the couple's like, well, do we have to do this? I kind of just want to go hang out at cocktail hour. Yeah. So if I'm running the show, we're done, because like, you no longer want to be part of this. So you're almost mad at me for wanting to shoot, and like, this isn't about me. This is about you guys. So cool. If you don't want to shoot, no worries. Like, I'll go sit and grab a mozzarella stick and you can go hang out and we're done. Like, why force people to do something that they don't want to do? And again, I understand you got to get your stuff, but those pictures are going to mean really nothing to them, or those video footage is going to mean nothing to them because they didn't really want to be there. And
I know for me, when I look at video clips where I'm in it, or even when I think of in my past life, when I was married at a young age, and we hired some buddies to take photos, and I remember how frustrated my partner at the time he was hangry, and they didn't know what they were doing, and they were just taking pictures, and it was like we were just like an attraction of our day. People were just shuttled in, take photos around us, take pictures with your iPhone, pause, and it was like we almost missed our whole dinner out. Like, we did miss dinner. We got like scraps from the caterers because it's just is it a photo shoot or is it a wedding?
This is always a question I'd love to ask like ex-couples or whoever, or ex-clients, I should say. Like, when you're driving away from your wedding, what percentage, like, would you say it was a time of your life, or would you say, holy shit, that was a waste of money? I think it'd be 50-50.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Just because a lot, again, like in Charleston, it's such a southern wedding traditional town. Like, I think a lot of it is for the parents, and a lot of it is for this, and they're just going, oh, I would have done this differently, or I would have done this differently, and it's just so, again, like, I can't fathom spending that much money on anything, but just especially for one day. So you're just going, what, like, were you happy with it? And again, some people might be like, dude, I'd do it again tomorrow. Yep. And some people are like, I would have eloped.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, and it's so like an experiential thing of, I had a good friend of mine that she's a yoga instructor, and I, asked her perspective on wedding days and wedding planning advice, and she was like, put the Pinterest away, put the magazines away, put whatever, all of your friends' opinions, lock it all away, sit down, close your eyes, and ask yourself, how do I want to feel on my wedding day? Yeah. What do I want to feel? Yeah. And then figure out your key statement of, I want to feel relaxed. Yep. I want to feel connected to my partner, and I want to get to laugh with my friends. And that is your backbone of all the decisions. So that, and she did practical things of, if you think you want to get a corset dress that gives you that bodice that you think you want, but you're not going to be able to take big breaths.
You will be miserable. Yeah,
and it's like, that's not going to serve how you want to feel. So it's like that. I love that, and that stuck with me. Of with all of those, all the details and the layers, like, it's all beautiful and amazing. But then it's like, what's your true biggest priorities of the experience of that day? Otherwise, at the end of the day, you're like, oh my gosh, what just happened?
One of my favorite brides ever, I'll give her a shout out, Lisa Citro. She is like the epitome of someone that, like, their wedding was amazing, but it was because of her. Like, she was so much fun. She made it so fun for everyone else. And we kind of talking earlier, I rarely post any wedding stuff on my Instagram, but I posted a little teaser for them, and I remember the caption. I remember we were eating, it was Sean and Elizabeth were the photographers, and we were just like all hanging out and eating tacos, and she got like a little bit of taco on her dress, and she like thought it was hilarious. And like I was like, dude, this could have like ruined some people's day.
Yeah.
And she just absolutely rolled with it and like almost made it more fun.
Yeah.
So I remember I was just thinking about, because we said, as we were, I think me and Elizabeth and Sean grabbed a drink after that, and we're like, if every client of ours was like that, this would be the greatest job in the world.
Yeah.
And
wow.
And I just remember posting on Instagram, and I was just like thinking as like, stupid, like, oh, what should I post for a caption? And I just wrote like, there's two types of brides. There's a bride that like gets taco stains on her dress and dominates the dance floor, or there's the napkin stressors. And I'm like, napkin stressors do not apply. Like, but that's again, like going back to business school, like learning what you want. Like you just think, as you're saying, well, cool, like you want business, but at the same time, if you can tell that a bride's going to be a pain in the ass, and if she's going to be high maintenance in this, like it's not worth the money. It's not. Like another client will come around. So I don't know where I was going there, but anyways, Lisa Citro. Miss you, love you. Yeah.
Crushed it. Freaking bride of the century. Oh my gosh. So okay, I want to tie into this because I think this is cool that you do this as well. So you, not only are you in the wedding video world, but also you do a pretty good bit of commercial work as well.
Correct.
What's like, okay. If tomorrow someone handed you like $1 bajillion and you never had to work a day in your life and you could fund any creative project, any video shoot, whatever, what would you do?
That's a great question, and probably one I can't answer right now. I don't know, because I really enjoy so much of it, because I am trying to get more into music videos. And I used to be, weddings were 80% of my livelihood, and now it's 50-50 between music, commercial, and weddings. And it's like, I think I'd do what I'm doing now. I would just be a little pickier about it. I don't know. That's a horrible answer. Delete this. No, I don't know. Like, cause like I'm working on a documentary now, and I love that, but I also love like the right client in a wedding. Like I can leave and be like, man, that was fantastic. Like that was awesome. And like the people you work with are great. I don't know.
Okay, what about dream
I'm
video shoot?
I'm disgusted how positive I am right now.
Dream video shoot. Bucket list experience.
Bucket list experience. I would direct a music video for either One Republic or Mumford & Sons.
Ooh.
Yeah.
All right.
Just super creative groups that I know people that have worked with them, and they're just like, they give so much creative control to the people that they're hiring.
Yeah.
And it's a weird world. And when people talk about the differences between the weddings and the music, it's kind of almost like an ego thing where, oh, I'm glad I do music videos because it looks cool on a resume, it looks cool on a reel, whatever. But at the same time, it can be a huge pain in the ass. And one thing people don't realize is, like, you with a wedding, you shoot the wedding, you edit the wedding in a week, and then cool, I hope you like it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If you don't, I'll tweak a little bit, but sorry, like I'm gonna do my absolute best, but it is what it is. It's what. But like with a music video, you got 40 people giving you their input, and you got this and that, and it's like you see the money at first, like, oh, okay, great, but then you don't realize that's 3 months of work.
Yeah,
and then
the practical.
Yeah, the practical, the writing the treatments, the hiring cast, the hiring this, on the back end, dealing with the edit, dealing with the color, dealing with the client. Is the artist happy with the way they look? Or the client, are they happy with the, there's just so many things that go involved where, basically what I'm trying to say is the grass isn't always greener.
Right.
Yeah. Sometimes you're like, and that's why I'm saying it's a hard question to answer about like what the projects are, because sometimes I'm on a project where I'm like, wow, this is my dream job.
Yeah.
This is my dream job. And then I'm on set and I'm going, I can't wait to get out of here.
Yeah.
I can't wait to get out of here.
Yeah.
And then same thing with a wedding. I'm like, oh God, I can't believe I'm shooting another wedding at Boone Hall. But then you get there, you're like, oh, this is actually pretty badass.
Yeah.
Like, so it's just it's a weird thing. Basically, whoever you're working with can make or break the project.
And I can so appreciate that because, you know, I feel like when you're in the wedding world and you're like, all right, I'm here. And then you're like, okay, well, how can I create something, you know, maybe it's more consistent or, you know, because for a long time I had the thinking of a wedding client is a one-hit wonder. You know, I book the client, I get them, there's one event and then it's over. But I've been shifting my limiting belief around recognizing like how valuable can I offer my energy, our presence, that, you know, the bridesmaids and the groomsmen, mostly bridesmaids, you know, like will fall in love with the experience they have with us and the family members. And how can we create, you know, we have an amazing family that we're on our third daughter's wedding, you know, where it's like the family had such a positive experience. And then, you know, and really building, hold on, I sound like a lizard. So
hold first. Sponsor while we mute show.
Okay, need to do my old preacher man singing. Yeah, okay.
Don't worry, wedding client. She does that during the middle of your vows, during your ceremony. Yeah,
I'm just clearing my throat back here. But that, you know, to establish so much value and so much connection with the clients. But yeah, the commercial work, you're like, oh yeah, it's like consistent.
Well, yeah, like again, like it's. The ego is like such a disgusting thing. Like you think you want those projects because you're like, oh, this makes me look cool. This is gonna look good.
I'm gonna be like legit when I do that.
But then you get there, you're like, well, this wasn't as fun as I thought. Like this wasn't as fulfilling monetarily or like emotionally as I thought.
And what about time wise? Like the revisions, the client 100%. Revision sucks the soul out of that creative spark or the vision or
I did a project that I thought was like my dream job, and they did 17 rounds of edits.
Oh my God.
Like it went on for months.
So how many months did you have to?
The editing process was 3 months.
Oh my God.
So that's again, like you get. Like you see what, and you're like, oh, damn, all right. But then when you balance it out, you're like, that was way less than what I'd make for a wedding.
Yeah. It's like I've really shifted and appreciated, like came full circle with the client experience of like event videography. And, you know, it's like my own soul searching. Like I started filming underwater and
awkward pause.
and just that, you know, it was for me, my love of filming started when I worked on a boat in the Caribbean, and I was like, wait a second, I might not get to frolic in bikinis every day and get paid and like all these things. And so it was about catching what was real and just documenting real moments. And so I feel like my root of what I love is like content rich stories, right? And it's like our whole tagline is to live a life filled with passion and stories worth telling, because that's that lifeblood of like just to work on a project or an experience where you are capturing the moment. I love that with weddings. It is like, well, like you didn't like the way you walked down down the aisle, like bummer. Like it's just it's honest, you know, like it's a real experience versus like, you know, I've worked with a photographer that like I don't ever care to refer him because he like sucked the lifeblood out of this couple's first look and was like, okay, now walk up, okay, pause, okay, now put your hand on her shoulder, okay, or on his shoulder, okay, great, pause, yep, okay, perfect, now I'm gonna get some close-ups, all right, now you can turn at one another, okay, look at each other, smile, okay, great, all right, now give each other a kiss. Like he completely ripped the magic out of that. Was their first look for them, you know, that was their one moment in the day.
I mean, you're literally hitting the nail on the head with the 2 points, but there was one photographer I worked with, and that was the biggest thing I took away from him. He was like, I'm not going to name who he is. I didn't like him that much. No, I'm kidding. He was incredible. But he's huge. And the wedding we were filming was average wedding. I'm sure he shot a million times bigger wedding, but he was so in it. Like he was locked in, and like he made them feel like they were the best couple he's ever worked with. That was the best wedding. And it was a local wedding. I was talking to him. I'm like, oh, like, where are you off to next? He's like, oh, I got a wedding in Thailand. Then I got a wedding in, Bali. Yeah. But he made it seem like, and I looked at that. I was like, man, I gotta take some of that, because it was like infectious. Like, it made me like him more, but you could tell how much the family loved him. And again, just talking to people that are getting in the industry, and you're going, well, how do I book business? As you said, your energy the day of is 100%. People see that. Yeah. So we're here, these huge Southern weddings where the bridesmaids, there's 400 bridesmaids.
Bridal parties, like 800 people.
Yeah, half of them are going to get married in the next 2 years. And if they remember you as, wow, Shelby was hilarious. She was fun. Their video was good.
Jokes.
Yeah, bad jokes. She was cool. Like, let's get her. And before you know it, then you are, every year you got a built-in 3 to 4 booked weddings without even doing anything. But it's the exact opposite. If you're a prick and you're like raining on their parade, and if you look weird and you stink and this and that, then they're going, I'm not hiring Stinky or none of my friends
Stinky's
hire
not
Stinky.
getting any of my repeat
Stinky
business.
is not getting referrals from anybody.
No. All right, so beyond the video products that you create and that you produce, what's a picture of your world beyond your profession? What do you like to do when you're not booked and, like your downtime? What's your favorite way of relaxing?
2 things. Biggest thing is just like totally cliche answer is just traveling, like just obsessed with traveling. And I think that, like, especially in a creative world, and definitely living in a place like Charleston, you have to get out and you have to see new things. And I'm not saying you have to go to New Zealand or anything, but even just like a quick weekend trip to New York. I don't mean to keep name dropping Elizabeth Faye, but I talk to her all the time, and that's what I talk about that. We're like, we got to go to LA just for like 2 days to just kind of like just walk the Venice Beach boardwalk, like just see different types, and like it is totally refreshing. So like I love doing it, but also I think like it's an investment into making your work better. Yeah. If you just, and I won't even bring my camera with me. I'm like, I just want to, like just actually enjoy it, like actually be in the moment. And one of the best things that ever happened to me is I had this crazy phone mishap the past month, and I haven't been able to get any of my apps on my phone. So if I want to log into Instagram, I like literally have to go on my desktop and like type in Instagram, and it's a horrible process. But when it's on my phone, I'm just like, bing, bing. Everything's for Instagram and this and that. But then looking at my desktop, I would just check it in the morning, whatever, but then like I would just forget about it. I'd forget about it. And then I'm like, so many of the things that I was doing was like, oh, cool. Like I want to, if I'm in Italy, I want to bring this camera with me and shoot everything so that I can make a recap video for Instagram for likes. And it's just like, it's so stupid. You're not even living in that moment anymore. You're just thinking more about the business and it's gonna get likes and someone might see it. But I was like, I'd come home and I'm like, I'm almost more tired than when I went over there, because I was shooting all the time and my brain was constantly thinking of the shot list that I needed to make. So yeah, out of town I love traveling, and then in town literally have become so obsessed with beach volleyball.
Okay.
Yeah. Like,
all right.
I have sand in all parts of me at all times. Like right now, sand on the mic.
Thank you. Thank you for that little.
You're welcome. Yeah. So those are my two things right now.
Cool.
Yeah, awkward, and I'm getting old. I think I have like 2 decent years of athletic ability left in me.
Okay.
So I'm really trying to dominate the Charleston beach volleyball market in the next 2 years. But traveling. But yeah, traveling, but just actually enjoying the experience, not going to travel just for pictures. I was reading online the other day, they said this one beach, I think it was in the Philippines, it was inundated with like 100,000 influencers like in a month, and they were showing, like they were taking video, and these people, they're in the most gorgeous place in the world, and they would go, they'd take a picture, they would immediately look down, and then they'd leave. Like they weren't even experiencing it all. And I shot a video for this one company, and again, it was one of those where I was like, oh, this could be cool. But then I got there. I was like, I can't wait to leave. I can't wait to get out of here. I filmed this thing in Martha's Vineyard, which I was like, oh, it's going to be great. And this huge company, they brought in these influencers to have like a weekend with the company. And they're like, oh, we just want you to come and document it. And it made me so sad. It was insane. Like, we were on a boat, like, you know, like I know you love being on boats. We're on a boat, and it was 12 influencers. And you said it too with the weddings, where you're going, we actually want to like capture you having a great time, not like pretending to have a great time. And it was like, you would see these people and they'd have their phones and they're going, oh my God, I'm with my new best friend and we're doing this, we're doing that. But the second they stopped hitting record, they never talk the rest of the time.
Oh my God.
They're on a boat in Martha's Vineyard, like around the 4th of July. It was perfect out, and they're doing this the whole time, and it was just all about content. And I'm just going like, what has this world come to? Like, it's insane. I mean, I don't know, just crazy.
Have you noticed the face drop where it's like the camera, you know, the leaning in for the selfie, and everyone's like, oh my God, yeah. And the moment they take the picture, their face goes, and just drops. And it's like, that's such a relevant thing. And do you feel like because I don't find all that many people that are as attuned to like the digital, the constant, like, oh, I live life behind this tiny phone. Do you feel like because you're in a line of work where you are looking for visual or like experiential things of like, oh, what would this be like to capture or to document? And yet then there's like, everyone has their own capability with that. Do you feel like you're particularly aware of when you step away from your actual work that you don't want to just constantly continue to be like, okay, got to capture this, got to whatever?
Yeah, for sure. And also too, I want to ask you this question. I do feel like it's a double-edged sword that, like, as I said, like, obviously I'm trying to be off it as much as possible, but in our line of work, no one goes to my website anymore. Like, I truly feel that. I feel like everything's through my social media. Like, that's how I'm getting the majority of clients. Is, oh, I saw this. Yeah. I saw this. So like you have to have it for work. So like with
necessary
as
people.
You're saying with, you know, your web content creation that you guys do, like, how much are you telling people to post and how much are you telling people to be on there?
I mean, I'm like not the person to tell people what to do, because I personally, you know, we have been doing curating social media content for people, and you know, there's 4 of us full time, and 2 of the girls are like ninjas that are just constantly the day in day out posting on behalf of our clients. And we've recognized the biggest time suck and like creative, just like something that is some of the least return. It's the necessary evil, and it's just not, you know, it's like, oh, we have to put out with this thing is social media. And so my thing, like the word that works for me is like disruptive and maverick. Like I want to post things that startle, shock, like show comedy. I feel like people with social media want to be entertained.
Sure.
And so, you know, we've done these recaps after we film a wedding, and we've done like 6 hours of editing, and we're like, so, you know, like, oh my God, it's uploaded. Let's go party. Let's go celebrate. And we'll take 10 minutes and just do a walkthrough of what was your favorite thing, what sucked. Oh, we accidentally filmed all of that in 4K and did a 0.5 terabyte of collection, you know, just share our experience. So the thing for me with social media is I want to showcase, I feel like in this era that we're in, everyone can do a perfectly curated aesthetic, and I think that we're fucking tired of it. I'm 100%. Tired of it. I don't believe any of it, and especially getting to work with influencers and whatever. It's like, I am so not convinced. I went to an influencer party, and you know, everyone's so busy posting whatever, and none of them knew how to like look someone in the eye, shake their hand, and have a fucking conversation.
Sure.
And I was like, what? And these are the people that are supposed to be leading our thinking of what is appropriate or desirable in culture. So I think the approach that I've been taking is like, how much can I look like an idiot in front of people 100%. And share like, this is who we are. And that's a really big lifeblood with, launching this podcast. It's like there are so many talented videographers and creators in this town, and just around the country. And we
real
want
quick,
to.
it really is insane, like all the talent that's in Charleston.
Yeah,
it really is.
It's and there's enough cake for everyone. There's enough pieces of the pie. But I've just realized, when I got into it 5 years ago, there was maybe like 8 to 10 major sort of players in the video realm, and now I'm like, what? Like who undercut me? Like
who's this bastard?
What? But it's like there's so many amazing people that can do exceptional video products that it's like, all right, we all are offering fantastic videos. What can I set, what's going to set me apart? And it's like, I want to show you the humans behind it. Because maybe they got great footage and it made a nice highlight reel. But were you comfortable? Were you supported? Were you laughing? Did you walk away with a new lifelong best friend? Because that's what we're going for, is like, we want to create real connection with people. And like your taco bride, you know, where you're like, I'm sure when you see her, like that connection with that couple is just like, for sure, you guys, you make my life rich.
Absolutely. And I know I didn't fill out the questionnaire. I apologize. But I do remember seeing a question about like some of the best advice, like one of the best quotes that anyone has told me, and it literally is playing exactly into what you're saying. Yes, there's tons of competition, but there's a friend of mine from Chicago, and she's incredibly successful entrepreneur, but like struggled, and like found her niche and just blew up. And when I was talking about possibly doing different things, she's like, it doesn't matter if there's competition, you just have to keep telling yourself they're not you. And so she's like, like there's always going to be someone that's better than you, but they're not you. Like, do they offer, and that's not like an egotistical thing, like, oh, they're not PJ Brown, like, but no, like they're just like, they're not Shelby, they're not whoever, like, like you can offer something unique that someone else can't. So again, like they might be better than you in some things, but are they as much fun as you? Like, do they have the people skills you do? It's like, there's just always something that you can offer that someone else can't. And I took that, I was like, damn, because so many times I was like, oh, should I move to LA? Should I do this? And I'm like, oh, I'll get eaten alive. There's so much competition. It's so scary. But then there's going, well, damn, like, they're not you. Like, and I think that's a good piece of advice for any of the kids at home listening.
Well, PJ, this has been amazing. How can people get in touch with you? How can they see you?
They can't. Don't contact me ever.
Don't talk to him.
Especially if it's
That's why we invited him on the show.
Wedding at a chapel in Charleston.
No, what's your social media or your website? How can people...
website is lifeandrewind.com. Social media, the only thing I am ever on is Instagram. It's at Life and Rewind Films.
Awesome. So at Life in Rewind Films, plural.
So fancy. So fancy.
PJ, it's been real.
Just an honor. Besides her hocking up a lung 3 times, it was really enjoyable.
You're welcome. All right, thank you so much for watching. If you're listening, thank you for tuning in. Please be sure to like, subscribe, follow all the social media things I just shit on. Do all those things, please. And
please
thank you. Thanks for tuning in. Please follow me, please. Awesome. Thank you so much.